Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack here. Tuesday now, the 29th day of July, 2025. What on earth is that all about? Look at all those colors in the Eastern Pacific, the Central Pacific. Pop quiz for you. Where do you think the MJO is, the rising motion? Well, it's right in front of you there. We have several systems. We have a hurricane out there, a Category 3. We have a tropical storm. We have a couple other areas that could develop. That is where the action is right now, the Central and Eastern Pacific. Despite cooler than average water temperatures out that way, the potential for developing La Nina, up is down, down is up, everything's backwards. Are we in a black hole or something? Like, what is going on? Seriously, it is interesting. We'll take a look at that and much more in today's update. So let's get started first. Check this out. I haven't shown this probably ever. This is the Goes West. I've done it so few times I don't even know how to say it. This is the Goes West satellite animation, and there is Iona, Category 3. This is Kelly, I guess that's how you say it, K-E-L-I, and then we have a couple other areas here that could develop. More activity farther east from there. This is where all of your upward motion is, part of the Madden-Julian oscillation. That is basically where the atmosphere, you have forcing, so that the air can go up, you can get deep convection, despite there being lots of stable air all around. I mean, look at this, all that stable air. This is not Saharan air layer, this is just cool Pacific marine layer over the very cold Pacific relative to what's happening in the tropics there. And that could be a big part of this, those colder waters up there to the north, and then your fairly warm water to the south, that gradient there. You don't have warm everywhere like you do the Atlantic, so there is an imbalance. Again, part of the overall equation. And voila, just all of a sudden, an outbreak of tropical cyclones and tropical cyclone wannabes moving westward across the Pacific. Now, the really great news here, nothing looks like it's going to impact Hawaii directly. So if you have plans to visit any of the islands out there, what a beautiful area of the world, don't worry. You know, you're going to get some waves, some big swells coming in, so you got to pay attention to high surf advisories, things of that nature. But outside of that, I don't see any direct impacts because this big high pressure area is sitting out here over the Pacific. I'll put an H in there. We'll just draw it in. The steering flow, the conveyor belt is this way, and there's no trough dipping in to allow these to turn up towards Hawaii. I don't see that changing anytime soon. This is what it all looks like on our interactive map. I mean, look at that. Just craziness, right? I don't think we've ever seen anything like this, to be honest with you. Layers upon layers of systems trying to develop. Here is Iona, 125 miles per hour, so almost, just like it says there, a Category 4 hurricane. But that's the key. It is well south of Hawaii, and it is going to stay well south of Hawaii, as will this next one here. Kelly, right? K-E-L-I, or is it Keely? I don't know. Anyway, that'll stay south of Hawaii too. That I do know. And these other systems, we got plenty of time to watch them. But the water temperatures up this way are cooler, and anything that does come in from the east typically dissipates. But we won't worry about anything. Anything that might develop farther to the east, we have plenty of time to monitor. And speaking of that, just here's a perspective from the Central Pacific region of the world here, and National Hurricane Center handling all of that. There's Iona, there's Kelly, Kaylee, Keely, whatever, and then a new area in Invest Area East Pacific 98, 98E as we call it. That too should go on to develop, and then to the east, more systems trying to pop up over the coming days. Again, I have to emphasize, this is where the upward motion resides. And that's it. That's where all the activity is for now. A couple stats for you. This is from our good friend Phil Klotzbach. Iona currently has max winds of 125, the strongest July hurricane in the central North Pacific since Douglas, way back in 2020. 5 years, and what's happening in our lives might as well be 1,000 years, right? So much has happened in 5 years, but not since Douglas there back in 2020. So, what about the Atlantic Basin? There are some signs of life out here. A couple of interesting features, a piece of energy there. Another one there with some pretty good rotation. This is the tropical wave that moved off the coast of Africa yesterday. That, some of the models, some of them, have been developing into share-worthy clickbait engagement YouTube video thumbnail shenanigans, because it's so many days out into the future and some of these models are new. You know what I'm getting at. That's the wave. And yeah, it looks pretty vigorous now, but it has quite the gauntlet ahead of it, all out through here. Dry, stable air, even more of that air mass coming off the coast of Africa here. The African easterly jet sending dry, dusty air into the Atlantic, more capping going on. But that is a pretty vigorous circulation, you can clearly see. So we have to watch this as it moves out into this region over the next week or so. What happens down the road? Again, I said this yesterday, I don't know for sure. Global models are helpful, but they are not the end-all, be-all. Whether they are AI models or traditional numeric models or whatever, you know, models here, models there, they're not the weather. Modeling is not the weather. Sometimes you have to just look out and see what's going on. And right now, we do have a pretty vigorous wave right there, and we will certainly watch it. We'll watch this one as well. We're knocking on the door of August, and these systems will bear some watching, but nothing that I'm too concerned with for the time being. So let's take a look real quick at the Pacific here. These are our systems out here, and this is what the GFS is showing. There's Hawaii, by the way, right through there, and a pretty good deep layer flow that keeps everything moving from east to west over the next week or so. I just wanted to prove it to you, because if you're going to Hawaii, I don't want you to be worrying about this. I'm not worried about it. You don't have to be either. Meanwhile, North Atlantic, let's switch this around so that we can look at the vorticity signature. There's a little piece of energy there. There's some more there. Shows up pretty nicely in the GFS 850 millibar field. Let's move this out to a week. And yeah, we got to watch and see. Look how these two systems kind of merge there. This is out at about 66 hours, two little lobes of more concentrated vorticity right there with that easterly wave. South of a pretty good area of high pressure here, so it should steadily move on to the west-northwest with time. So let's move this out another 100 hours or so and see what happens. Not much. The GFS not very enthused about this at all. We look out now. This is the 5th day of August. Let's take a look at the middle part of the atmosphere here. Somewhat moist, sitting over in this area where it would be, but still the very dry air. This is your humidity values. Brown is not good if you're looking for a lot of humidity in the 300 millibar to 700 millibar area of the atmosphere. That's where the tropical cyclones like it. And when it's brown like that, you're talking very low relative humidity, and that's not going to get the job done. You're just not going to get the deep convection when you've got that much in the way of dry air around. Now, another 15 days or so, this is August 5th, things naturally should start to change. Now, we have said that often the last few years, and something at least, what is it, about 2022, and ever since, it seems like August is like July. And we're not getting much in August as of late. Will that change this year? Again, I don't know for sure, but I don't see much change in this pattern. We'll see. I mean, we are getting closer to where climatology starts tugging on everything, so to speak, to sort of get it to start popping more. But I'm not seeing a lot of signs as we head into August. That being said, our limits really only go out a week to 10 days at best for these bigger signals. Beyond that time frame, we're going to have to just wait and see. But at some point, you would figure climatology will start playing a role. Water temperatures are very warm. We've talked about that plenty. La Nina looks like it's trying to come back in. The equatorial Pacific cooling off. Yeah, we might be in for a very busy September and October, sort of a truncated but sprint race kind of deal for the hurricane season. That might be something, there might be something to that. We shall see. All right, it's monsoon time, at least a little bit. There's a plume of moisture, and right now it's directed into New Mexico, a little bit of southeastern Arizona over here as well. Very interesting to me, as I said yesterday, and that's why I got the Arizona shirt. I'm heading out there in just a couple of hours. I'll get on the airplane with my colleague Scott, and we're going to be out there until August the 8th, tracking down storms, looking for haboobs, dust storms, lightning, flooding, and there's a big fire, the Dragon Bravo fire, north rim of the Grand Canyon. We're going to, check out the heat that's going on out there. It's very fascinating what happens in the desert Southwest, and we're going to be out there. We'll be streaming live tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday posting some stuff on social media, our Patreon, our Discord. It's like a different world out there. So that's where I will be, keeping an eye on everything, of course. Now look, these green patches you see through here, this is serious. Got that flash flooding. You know, Ruidoso up here has been hammered over and over again in the last couple of years, and this caught my attention today. This is out of the Weather Service Tucson, and I don't know if this is the one or not. Let me see. I might have gotten the wrong forecast discussions. Let's just back this up. Let's get it right. Click in here. Yeah, I did. I need the one from Albuquerque, Mark Albuquerque. So let's do that. They've probably updated it, so I'm not going to be able to find it again. Let's see. Nope, it's there. So this right here, this is at midnight last night, Mountain Daylight Time. And I was just showing you that plume right there, at least on the Weather Service map. Monsoonal plume entrenched over New Mexico. And the problem here is the precipitable water values are enough that you could get some serious flooding out here, especially near and below the burn scars. But, as they say, Ruidoso in particular will see very high threat for dangerous flash flooding with potential debris flow. Unfortunately, a flash flood emergency scenario may be in the cards for Ruidoso both today and Wednesday. Don't think that Scott and I can get over from Phoenix to that area by tomorrow, but Thursday, because they continue to talk about it happening through Thursday and Friday, we might be out that way Thursday, so we'll keep an eye on all of that. You've seen it. It's been very dramatic, very scary, loss of life out there, terrible. Fox Weather's done a great job covering it. We'll be out that way. This is important. Water shapes the landscape. It's necessary for our survival, but boy, when there's too much of it, even if it's just a couple of inches in a short amount of time, a couple of inches of rainfall in arid regions, I've said it before, you speed up geologic time, and it can get very violent and very out of control. But we're going to cover all of that over the next few days, so I hope you follow along on the Twitter there, our YouTube channel, and we'll be posting stuff on our Patreon and our Discord if you are members over there. Plenty of action there as well. Again, a very fascinating part of the world. All the while, I'll be keeping an eye on all of this, and from time to time, I will, of course, be posting updates. All right? Have a great rest of your Tuesday. As always, thanks for tuning in and giving me a part of your day. I'm Mark Sudduth. I'll see you again from somewhere in the desert Southwest later in the week.